Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programas offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
รายการของเรามีให้หลายภาษาโปรดดู suprememastertv.com/schedule
Bentwood boxes are practical art objects that showcase the multiple artisanal talents of the Heiltsuk. These watertight chests, which were very important in the rainy coast of British Columbia, were used to store clothing, food, ceremonial, and household objects. The Heiltsuk of British Columbia. Take a little, leave a lot. Watch on to find out more about a proud First Nations people.
Alo means hello in Seychellois Creole, the official language of Seychelles. Superb viewers, I am Juliette. The smiling people of Seychelles wish that you have the opportunity to walk in nature every day. Welcome to the Heiltsuk of British Columbia. Take a little, leave a lot. During our time together, we will learn about a resourceful group of individuals in Western Canada called the Heiltsuk. The Heiltsuk Nation are indigenous people of 5 different tribes whose oral tradition states that they were set in what is now called the Central Coast of British Columbia, Canada, by the Creator prior to the Great Flood. Their history teaches that the Heiltsuk took refuge on a strip of land on Triquet Island that didn't freeze during the last ice age, allowing them to survive. A 2017 archaeological dig at a settlement on the island found evidence supporting this part of their oral history. The discovered artifacts were carbon dated to 14,000 years ago, making it one of the oldest settlements in North America. Although the population of the Heiltsuk was about 10,000 at the time of the first contact with Europeans, it declined to the hundreds due to exposure to European diseases, including smallpox. Today, it is about 2,400. Their territory encompasses about 35,000 square kilometers on the central coast, including inlets, islands, peninsulas, mountains, and valleys. It has a harsh climate, being on the windward side of the Pacific storm systems, which brings high winds, thick fogs, and heavy rainfall. Most of the Heiltsuk today live in the village of Bella Bella. The Heiltsuk have a well-defined code of ethics and morality, which has historically been taught through their oral tradition, music, dance, and artwork. The word Heiltsuk literally means to speak or act correctly, which encompasses how people are to behave in everyday and ceremonial life. They have a well-defined system of traditional laws that have been upheld by their hereditary chiefs for thousands of years. They view these rules of their ancestors as the overriding principles for all resource use and environmental management. A core belief is that they should take a little and leave a lot. Fundamental to these ideas is the concept that all things are connected and unity is important to maintain. They view themselves as inheritors of a great treasure in the form of the Great Bear Rainforest, as their territory is within the boundaries of this spectacular old-growth forest that is 6.4 million hectares. The Great Bear Rainforest has an ecosystem with many iconic species unique to this region, including the Pacific coastal wolf and white spirit bear. Over 6 million migratory birds, grizzly and black bears, and many rare plants and animals make their home there. The Heiltsuk have historically been known as artisans who excelled in creating canoes, bent wood boxes, chests, ladles, and other objects. While there are certain aspects of Heiltsuk art that are shared with other groups in the Pacific Northwest, including crest imagery and totemic designs, each tribe has its own unique features and styles. The indigenous people of the region use what is called a form line, or the black lines that outline the forms of their art and create an interchange between positive and negative space. The term form line was coined by Northwest native art expert Professor Bill Holm and was introduced in his 1965 book, Northwest Coast Indian Art: An Analysis of Form, in which he explains the form line is the primary design element on which Northwest Coast art depends, and by the turn of the 20th century, its use spread to the southern regions as well. It is the positive delineating force of the painting, relief, and engraving. Form lines are continuous, flowing, curvy linear lines that turn, swell, and diminish in a prescribed manner. They are used for figure outlines, internal design elements, and in abstract compositions. According to Professor Holm, in looking at native art objects found in the Pacific Northwest, we can see the precursors to form line dating back several thousand years, which began to evolve into form line about 2,000 years ago. Pacific Northwest Indian art also uses bilateral symmetry to the contrast of bold, highly differentiated colors like black and white. Similarly, red and green pigments were often used by the Heiltsuk. Bentwood boxes are practical art objects that showcase the multiple artisanal talents of the Heiltsuk. These watertight chests, which were very important in the rainy coast of British Columbia, were used to store clothing, food, ceremonial and household objects. In terms of the remarkable carpentry, bentwood boxes are made from a single piece of cedar, which is beveled or curved, so that the wood can be bent to right angles and turned into a box. After the cedar plank is shaped and curved, it is steamed, bent, and then sewn into a box shape using wooden pegs or cedar roots, creating a watertight chest. Although most bentwood boxes were left plain, some would have also been painted or carved using their own unique form lines. Canoes are another aspect of Heiltsuk culture that combine advanced carpentry skills with sophisticated artistry talents. As a maritime people, they used the canoe as their main form of transportation, trading, and communication with other groups for thousands of years. There were many varied styles that were made for different purposes, including ocean-going and river canoes, as well as ones for trading goods and freighting, ceremonies, transportation, and racing. These prized boats were also often traded. One of the largest dugout canoes in existence has been linked to both the Heiltsuk and Haida peoples in the Pacific Northwest. called the Great Canoe. It is an iconic feature at the American Museum of Natural History in New York City, USA. Carved of a single cedar tree around 1878, the Gilwa, which means ocean-going canoe, is 19 meters long and beautifully decorated with the imagery of both the natural and supernatural worlds on the outside. The design includes crests of an orca and a raven, suggesting that the lineage of the original owner rose from these clans. Inside the craft are intricate carvings which, when combined with the imagery of the outer hull, mark it as a ceremonial boat. The canoe was acquired and made its way to New York in 1883. During this era, the Heiltsuk took their expertise in building ocean-going canoes to develop a shipbuilding business with Western-style ships. As the focus of boat building turned towards vessels of Euro-American design, which included motors, the Heiltsuk and other tribes in the Pacific Northwest began to lose their canoe culture and canoe building knowledge. There has been a revival in canoe culture since 1985, when members of the Heiltsuk Nation realized that the World Exposition 86, to be held in Vancouver, British Columbia the following year, had no indigenous representation. Since the exposition's theme was transportation and communication, for the first time in a century, the members of the Heiltsuk community decided to carve an ocean-going canoe and use it to travel 900 plus kilometers south to the expo in Vancouver. A major milestone on the road to cultural revitalization was reached in October 2019 when the Heiltsuk people celebrated the opening of their big house for the first time since the last one was destroyed 120 years ago. The house of the Heiltsuk is a sacred place that is used for both governance and ceremony. It is where their ancestors visit them from the spirit world and where they can go back and forth between the worlds during ceremony. Step by step, the Heiltsuk have been working to strengthen and rejuvenate their cultural heritage by finding ways to honor their customs and values while living and working in the modern age. As we have discovered today, they have great beauty to share with the world through their artistry and craftsmanship and a moral code of governance. Benevolent viewers, we have been privileged to take this journey into the Heiltsuk culture with you today. Coming up next is Building a Peaceful Planet for All Beings, Youth Climate Movement Torchbearers Climate Now, and the Sunrise Movement Part 2 of 4, right after Noteworthy News here on Supreme Master Television. May we all be in harmony with each other and nature.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/CTAW.